you guys. This is a very unplanned video. I just got in my spirit that I need to do something in these lines, so that's what we're doing. I just had a thought that I would like to share, and hopefully I can spark some sort of conversation on this. So I'm gonna be doing my makeup. Mirrors over here and cameras over there. So if you see me looking over here, just listening, okay? So over the past few weeks, for a long time, but especially over the past few weeks, I've had this thing happening where I'm thinking of like how we have a fear of growth and change and learning as adults, right? And I've always said, well, I haven't always said, but recently it just came to me like, guys, we're all on earth for the first time. You realize that, right? So like, why are we as adults almost embarrassed to admit that we don't know something? We don't know how to do something as well as maybe the next person may, right? One of my prayers to God is that He should keep my heart as that of a little child. And I'll explain. So like, there's a verse in the Bible, I think it's in Matthew, where he talks about how we should be like little children. Jesus talks about how we should be like little children and how we won't inherit the kingdom of heaven unless we are like children. The reason I pray what I prayed to Him about that is because kids don't really have issues with learning, people harboring issues. You know, they don't keep record of wrongs. They really don't. Like a child, you could scold a child and yeah, the child will be sad, the child will be, will isolate maybe for like a few minutes. But that same child will come right back to you, who scolded them, and give you a hug like nothing ever happened. The purity of the heart of a child is really what I want to stay with, because we are children of God for a reason. We are children of God. And so I don't want to be the kind of adult that goes to God as an adult. He's my father, I'm His child. And I'm saying that to say our fear of learning needs to be addressed, I think, because we make it so hard for people and ourselves really to grow and to learn and to evolve, because we've got these things that tell us by 18 you should be able to move out. Like, why? 18 years old? Can you remember how dumb you were at 18? Like, you're a child. These are just social things that are brought to put us in this kind of box, right? So when a child is learning to walk, right, the child will take like 2 steps and fall, right? As the adults, we will cheer the child on even if the child falls. But that's because we know that that's a child. The child's not going to say, oh dang, I failed. I'm not doing that again. I failed. I'm not gonna do that because I fell. The child will get back up and try again. The child will get back up and start holding on to stuff, trying to see how best can I do this thing? And so instinctively, the child gets up again and again and again, and we keep cheering these children up, right? As adults, if someone else does something better than I do, right? For example, if someone's a better communicator than I am, and they have told me, look, you need to work on your communication because you can't just do this and this and this and not tell anybody and not say anything and not express yourself in a way that would help us understand why you're doing what you're doing and how to navigate that so that we can all live well. Because I'm expected as an adult to know how to communicate, adults will give me the side eye because, oh, she just can't communicate, without realizing that, oh, maybe she just needs to learn, right? And of course, there has to be willingness on my part for that to even happen. But maybe she needs to learn. And in learning, there needs to be grace. The same way you won't get frustrated at a child falling after 2 steps is the same way God doesn't get frustrated with us when we're learning something and we fail and we try again and we fail. As long as there's willingness, I think grace is definitely sufficient, right? But that's God to us. As people, it's very difficult to express or to give grace because we expect that because I'm great at communication, how are you this age and you don't know how to communicate? How have you survived? And it's like, they just maybe need to learn. And being able to cheer each other on as we are learning and growing and trying and failing and trying again. That's the clapping that we do for the kids when they're falling and standing up again and falling. That's the grace that we need to give each other, I think. Like, oh, I even stopped doing my makeup. Anyway. And that's why I said we are all here for the first time. Nobody has been here before that's gonna be able to say, oh, I've lived this life before, like this is how you do this and this is how you navigate that. Nobody's been here before. It's our first time. Only thing we may have is experience because some people are older than others. Some people have had the experience and have had the privilege of time, right? And so you can advise based on the kinds of experiences you've had, but ultimately we've all been here for the first time. We're all here for the first time. Like, we don't need to be so hard on everybody because they can't do what we can do effortlessly. There's also things that I can't do effortlessly that someone else is just like, really? You can't do that? Like, no, I can't. And this embarrassment of being able to say, no, I don't know how to do that. I want to learn, but really, I don't know how to do it. That embarrassment, like, why are we so embarrassed to say, you know what? I don't know how to do that. I think we should be able to hold space for one another to where we can say, okay, I know you struggle with this, but you've tried right now. Like this, in your attempt to do it, I can commend you and I can appreciate the effort, but not to dismiss what has been done just because it hasn't been done the way we would like. To appreciate someone's willingness to learn, to appreciate someone's willingness to change, to evolve, to be better so that you can coexist in a way, is something that should not be taken lightly. I think we very quickly go into adult mode without really taking a step back to see, oh, actually this person is trying to do this. I hope this is making sense because when I was talking to myself, well, it was just me and the Lord, this made sense. So I hope that it's translating well over there. Like, can you imagine if a child was learning to walk, and fell, and someone said, see, this child is just useless. You can't even walk. You know, what type of child are you? You can't even walk. If there's anyone sensible around that child, you will instantly beat up that person. I think I would just beat you up, because, and the thing you would do is, you can't talk to a child like that. This is just a child. Now, I'm not saying in each other's eyes we're children, but we are children in the eyes of God, because I think the ultimate level of perfection in Christ would be to be the Christ, right? And nobody's getting there. No, nobody. We are not perfect. We are not grown yet. And I know the Bible talks about how we need to mature and move from milk to meat. That's one thing. But in the process of moving from milk to meat, why are we so hard on each other? I know for me, it was very hard to do a lot of things. It was very hard for me to say what I'm feeling. I became the type of person that will not tell you what you've done. I'll just decide, you know what, we're all big. If you decided to do that, you decided to do that, and like, I'm out. Because I'm not going to tell you what you did wrong. You should know what you did wrong. Flawed, of course. But if I didn't have people around me that would say, no, don't do that. Communicate. What's wrong? What have I done? How can I fix it? If I didn't have people like that around me, I would still be the same. Of course, because it's how I grew up, right? There's going to be times that I would just feel like my default setting is safer. It's better. I would like to be alone. Leave me alone. I'll figure it out. I always do anyway. And to have people that will say, no, tell me what's wrong, is a blessing. And if we can all be that to someone, I'm not saying tolerate blatant nonsense, guys. I hope this message is coming across the way it should. God, I hope I'm saying the right things here. And like, if you can actually see tangible, real-time effort, we should at least try and create, especially in the church, we should create a space where people can learn and grow and become better people, as opposed to get attacked and get ridiculed and feel small because they don't know how to do something that we also had to learn. It was just really heavy on my heart. I had to talk about it. Do I look pretty already? I think I do. Oh, and I think this is the first time you guys are seeing me in my short hair. Oh, you know, I did some finger coils in it. It's, you know, this is day 3? No, day 4. So this is my short hair. Hey, I'm briefly also preaching to myself here. I'm not coming on here like I'm some perfect little person. I'm preaching to myself. There's some people I have not given grace in this life. That, you know, maybe if I was just a little bit more patient with them, or more understanding, or more willing to understand, I think would be in a better place. But I will say, above all else, give grace to people, but definitely give grace to yourself. Give yourself grace. Don't tolerate your own procrastination and your own bad habits, but do give yourself grace. Commend yourself when you do make progress. And we're not trying to make perfection, we're just trying to progress in this life with the help of God. Congratulate yourself. You're doing great. People may not tell you you're doing great, but I think we all know inside of us, like, look, I was not like this. And for me to be able to do this is just really, it's really big. It's big to me. To some people, it's not anything. But to me, that's like amazing. I was able to communicate. I was able to apologize. I was able to sit first and listen without lashing out. All these little things are things that you can be proud of yourself for. We should all clap for ourselves, because I know the girl I was just even 6 months ago is not the person I am now. I've come such a long way, guys. I am not going to overlook that. And I think you shouldn't either. I think I'm done with my conversation and my makeup. Trust God, do good, and I will see you guys in my next video. Toodles!